Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. And today's topic is, what do you want to see at Citizencon 2019? And more importantly, it's what will wow you at Citizencon 2019. I think we're going to see a lot of things. There'll be panels and stuff like that. But Star Citizen probably now more than ever, given that they've done a lot of showing what's going on in the game, and we're at a stage in the development of the game where right now we're obviously waiting for server-side OCS. The things are kind of on hold at the moment. The hype around Star Citizen is probably lower than we've seen it in a very long time. I would say viewership on Twitch is much lower than normal. Viewership on YouTube is much lower than normal. Just regular searching for Star Citizen clicks seem to be down as well. So it's an interesting time where CitizenCon, and specifically, we don't have Gamescom anymore, and CitizenCon is a big, big event. It's November 24th or 26th this year. I keep mixing up those dates. I think it's the 24th. And that really falls in line with the anniversary stream that they used to do as well. So they used to do kind of, CitizenCon would be a big, epic event. They would sell there, and then a month or so later, we would get the anniversary live stream, and that would be sell too. So it's going to be really interesting kind of putting both of the shows together into one. And on top of it is what's going to bring the overarching gaming community in and excited about Star Citizen this year. So in the last few years, we've seen our first moon. We've seen Star Citizen 3.0 be realized. We've seen our first planet at CitizenCon. We've seen ArcCorp at CitizenCon. We've seen a Squadron 42 reveal at CitizenCon, and some kind of mission gameplay. And all of those things were excited at their own time. And I feel like the Star Citizen community kind of jumps in, sees how the patch is doing, see it's a little buggy, and kind of is like, all right, see you in the next one. So what is CitizenCon going to do to like really, really excite everybody? So real quick, I'll just give my kind of things that would really kind of blow my mind. Is a jump point would be pretty cool, but I don't think a jump point is as important as something like Horizon or Orison. I'm not sure exactly how to say it, which is Crusader's Landing Zone, because it's a gas giant that floats in the air. It'll feed to Star Wars fans from episode, I can't remember the one where with Lando, and yeah, I don't know, it'll kind of be that beautiful sight that will really draw some eyes in, probably from Reddit and the gaming community. And then on top of that, it's the other one would be with server-side OCS and server meshing being worked on now. I wonder if they can, in some way, shape, or form, show us a lot of people in one area. Maybe with NPCs or something, but show us that the tech that is supposed to make Star Citizen be realized this year. So that's kind of what would maybe blow my mind. And I'm seeing somebody in chat, will they actually show some gameplay? And I don't know if gameplay, like, believe it or not, I don't know if gameplay is what CitizenCon or Star Citizen needs to hype itself up. I think gameplay is what it will need longer term, but to hype it back up, it's more the visuals about the game than it is about the actual gameplay. Like, if they showcase a tier zero version of Salvage, like, is that gonna blow everyone's mind? I don't know, man. I don't think so. So I'm gonna jump right into the calls now, and we have Shadowhunter on the line. So I'm gonna bring him in, and yeah, I don't know if that'll do it for me. Any of the things really that I mentioned, what will do it, other than, yeah, like Keanu Reeves coming on stage and saying how breathtaking everybody is. I don't know what it'll take, but let's bring Shadowhunter on. I've talked enough. Hey, Shadow, can you hear me?
Yeah, how about you, Mike?
I'm well. How are you? Let me bring you up.
I'm not bad. So yeah,
So
not bad, not bad. How are you?
I'm good. So what do you expect?
Okay, so I think this question can be broken up into about 3 sections:
Mm-hmm.
what we want, what we expect, and what CIG wants, because the 3 of them I think are vastly different. So CIG, they're going to want to show off things like server-side OCS. They're going to want to show off, AI functioning, stuff like that. And like you were just saying, that's not really going to be breathtaking or wow. That's going to be like, oh, cool, they have AI.
That'll be on the panels, right? That'll likely be on the
Yeah.
panels. I really should have prefaced it at the beginning. Like, what would the keynote be? What would be the boom?
So,
Yeah.
So things like, for example, showing off Horizon, obviously that'll be cool. But I think if they really, really want to go for wow factor, they're going to need jump gates, and they're going to need some space battle or something to really make people go, oh wow, this game's cool. I don't think flying down to Lyria or any of these sort of places is going to do it anymore, because we've seen that over and over and over. Like,
a sunrise or sunset on Horizon would probably be one of the things that would be pretty breathtaking, I would think. But
yeah, well, my idea would be, for example, if they want to go for like the ultimate wow factor, would be a Carrack parked at Horizon, or well, I can't pronounce that.
Yeah,
a Carrack parked on the pad. Sun coming up over the horizon. You walk up, you jump into the Carrack, you jump through a jump gate, you come out at the other end, and there's pyro or whatever it may be, and there's a whole bunch of NPCs that start firing at you, and you basically then get everybody to jump into guns and start firing back. That would be like the ultimate, like, holy SHIT.
You can curse. It's okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure with Twitch. But yeah, like I said, that'd be like the holy shit like moment. That'd be like, like cool. Like, yeah, this game's getting there. But the stuff that we need, like server-side OCS, which I do think they are going to show off in the keynote. Okay. I don't think that's going to be enough for people to go like, wow, because that sort of tech, while it's cool, it's not really something. It's not really for us.
The game will just work.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, like, things that have broken or been poorly done, it'll just work.
Yeah. And we won't notice it too much until we start getting in there and doing missions and, finding out the AI. Like, I went to SPK earlier today when I was doing a test, and I turned up at SPK and it said that I had to arrive at SPK, and I'm there walking around for like 15, 20 minutes. Nothing happened. It still registered as me needing to get there. So I got up, went to the toilet, came back, and I was dead. So I ran around the footage because I was recording. And it ends up being that about 2 or 3 minutes after I got up to go to the toilet, the AI finally decided to teleport in, and they realized I was there and then shot me. But it was like after 15 minutes or so, it's like finally it got around, the servers got around to saying like, oh, hang on, he's here. We can shoot him now.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, I think it was Astropub, the Firefly was on there this morning, and he was talking about server tick rates and stuff like that. And he was saying that OCS for servers will improve that sort of stuff. So like I said, that sort of stuff we need, but it's not going to be a wow factor. It's, if they want to really bring like the wow, like,
it's always visual.
Cool. Yeah.
The wow
it's
is visual, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be space battles. It's going to be, an Idris jumping through a gate, coming out, and then fighting a bunch of Vandal ships, or something like that. That's going to be like this game's actually getting somewhere now. And they can show that off with like server-side OCS a little bit. They can sort of say, we can do this now because of server-side. But yeah, the things that make the game work aren't going to be the wow factor. So it's sort of like, different sections. But
yeah. I mean,
but ideally,
because you always remember that they're going to have the the panels. So like things like server-side OCS, like maybe they'll show it in the keynote. That would be cool. But a lot of the technical stuff, that's what's cool about the panels. It's the people that want to see the technical stuff can. The people that want to see the I don't know, the Star Citizen Live kind of content where they actually have a dev working on things and showing off their work. That you get that out of it, but the actual WoW keynote thing, it's coming to a point where like we're still in the Stanton system. How are you going to blow our minds with something that we haven't seen yet when we've seen it over and over and over again forever now? So it's an interesting question for me is kind of what will blow your minds and what will actually bring in the overarching gaming community back to this game, getting excited about it again. And I don't know if it'll ever happen, but not in the way that it did.
If you want to bring the gaming community back, you're going to have to show off gameplay. It's going to have to be space battles. It's going to have to be mechanics. It's going to have to be things like that. The visualizations, like, for example, on Reddit, like there's 300 screenshots every day from like a sunrise on Reddit. It's like we're so overseeing sunrises now. It's like, it's cool. But that isn't going to bring people back to constantly keep playing the game loops. The game loops need to be done with salvage, exploration, jump portals, big ships going in and getting into space battles. That's what's going to make people come back to the game. But the thing is that to get that, we need the boring stuff, the stuff like server-side OCS, and it's hard because it's like you can't have one without the other. But for example, say they spend half the amount of time working on server-side OCS because it's a big thing, then that means that we're going to get less game loops or game mechanics because, well, they're trying to rewrite code and put in the new physics grid and everything at the moment. So I feel sorry for CIG sometimes because they've got to balance this sort of, we need this, but the community wants this, and they're sort of trying to.
And we still have to sell ships, and like it's not an easy situation for them, but it's also a situation they put themselves in.
True, but this year we've only had, 3 or 4 ship sales this year so far?
Yeah. They had the tow truck, the ballista, the motorcycle.
Yep. I think there was 4. I think there was 3, and then the ballista came out, which was before. Which, for example, last year, for example, we were having basically one a month sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they have backed off the ship sales
the Corsair,
a lot, which Corsair, that's it, yeah. So they have backed off a lot of the ship sales already, and I presume we're going to have 2 ships, Citizencon, or 1 or 2 ships there.
Yeah.
Plus, we are getting that Aegis ship that's
probably a capital size.
Yeah. See, like that, for example, if you want to blow people's minds, like having capital ships and like coming in and landing at the place I can't pronounce. If you want to blow people's mind, capital ships coming in and landing and docking there, that would help. So it's going to have to be visuals, but to get that, we need the boring stuff. We need server-side OCS, server meshing, stuff like that. And I don't think that's going to sort of bring all the guys to the yard, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know either. But all right, Shadow, let's bring on our next one. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. I hope.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I hope Star Citizen lives up to our expectations. So we'll see.
We'll see. Have a good night.
All right, we're bringing in Groth. Groth, what's up, man?
Hey, Mike.
How's it going, dude? So, what do you think? What are your expectations for Citizencon? What would you really want to see, and kind of what would bring in people outside of the Star Citizen community and get them excited?
So much that I want to disagree with the last caller.
Okay.
I think he's right in terms of what I think which would be a good idea. starting with Orison, doing some Afro-American NPC that looks sort of like Lando, and then showing the Carrack, doing Carrack multi-crew with some NPCs around maybe, showing a jump point. I still hope they don't do gates. And
why don't you want them to do gates?
Because like years ago when they talked about it, they wanted it to be the exit points like spread out, like even with the stable ones, there are hundreds of kilometers of like the area where you can drop in and drop out of the thing, that it's quite unpredictable, that there's no gate camping or whatever. And
Yeah,
gates
but just showing it working is totally different than having it completely fully featured.
That's true, but
yeah.
Back to the presentation. What I would like to add, would I want to see, because they didn't show it for such a long time, and I really hope that they're finally, because of Squadron are more advanced in it, showed during the battle finally a sort of working room system, and have a explosive decompression, and some people like whoops in space.
Oh, like maybe redoing the original. I can't remember which year that was, where they landed down on ArcCorp, but before that, like a grenade went off inside the ship.
Yeah,
that one.
The one was a Connie where
it was 2015.
Yeah, or also loss of gravity in the ship, stuff like that with the room system. That would be, I think, exciting for most people. We are so much in the project that basically I think there's at this point, and because since last year they're working more towards stuff that's in our reach than years away.
Yeah.
I think we know too much, and we that there's something that really would like totally surprise the backers. But I would like to see something like that. Another thing is the question is if they go next year, because if they're really thinking that they could release Squadron either Christmas next year or like first quarter 2021, because then they have to at some point start their marketing campaign. And if they still think Christmas is doable, then they have to do this Citizencon very Squadron-like to do the first push in marketing. I don't think that we should do the one of the E3 or Gamescom for the start of the push. I think you should start then like another, like maybe a reiteration of the Morrow tour, something like that. That doesn't is not too spoilery. A bigger trailer, a featurette, interviews, stuff like that to start the Squadron campaign, to have like the 1 and a bit year of marketing cycle. And then do next year. Then if they think they release next year, then they're doing something for E3. They're doing something for Gamescom to really get it to the masses. But I think they if they want to release it next Christmas, they have to do the marketing push now and not 2 months. Do the Citizencon push 2 months or so maybe before release. That I think would be not very wise.
Yeah, I have no.
So I think
I have no
maybe
Squadron expectations from Citizencon this year, and maybe I should, but
yeah, if they think it's doable for the end of next year, then I think they should do it, because they need to make the public aware that it's coming. Like last year, some people saw the thing, but it was like it faded away very quickly. But if they show this year something that it's really like not in the length of the vertical slice, but a more compact thing, maybe 15 minutes of something that is looking better, a trailer, featurette, stuff like that they can push out to the games media, and people see, yeah, this is coming along. this might release next year. I think that might be a good idea if they have the feeling that they could do it like in that Christmas to Q1 release circle. If not, then
so for you,
they're probably doing next year.
I'm just gathering from you that Squadron 42 is more important to you at this year's CitizenCon than anything from the PU.
For me personally, maybe not, but I think it's for the current game development more important to show it.
But that's not the question. What do you want to see? What it's going to excite you again?
Oh, that's hard. Maybe the thing that I talked before, like what the previous caller also talked about, seeing the room mechanics, seeing a bit more multi-crew, seeing a few more biomes.
Mm-hmm. New biomes would be very cool, which would obviously with Horizon would be interesting.
Stuff like that. Yeah. But like more towards like this could be exploration gameplay. Like that's still the most voted gameplay that people want. Maybe not showing a V1, but stuff like this. Even it ends maybe in a battle. Just showing some biomes, just showing a jump. That would show for me enough of exploration, what you might see, what you could discover.
Okay. And then what do you think would bring in the, like, I think for the core community, you're hitting it, right? Like the things that would excite a lot of people. And I'm glad you brought up the, like, kind of multi-crew and some of the room system stuff that they've been talking about for a long time. But what do you think would bring in people outside of the Star Citizen community to get excited about it?
Yeah, I mean, other than like doing the side presentation, hopefully not lighting, not sound design, not languages, but more like.
Well, it would have to be the keynote thing.
Yeah.
That would do it.
I mean, the side panel should be more Tony Z and game mechanics, hopefully.
And the side panels for us. Right?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that because it's more side panel stuff and it's too far, sadly, in the future. Even though I want it now, gameplay wise. I don't think that there's no Star Citizen stuff where we can attract the masses. I think the only thing where we could attract the masses is Squadron at the moment. Star Citizen is in such a horrible shape, gameplay loop wise, having missing core mechanics. A lot of stuff is just boring and tedious. I think Squadron is where there should be the focus, and like doing in a digestible manner, like multiple clips maybe, but not an hour long, maximum like 15-20 for the big one, and then trailer, featurette, maybe some interviews, maybe having Mark Hamill finally on stage. No, maybe not in England, but maybe they can get Andy Serkis on stage.
To tell everybody they're breathtaking.
No, but just having somebody of the actors, maybe some of the
Andy Serkis in a Keanu Reeves suit, dressed like
but you get
CGI'd into Keanu Reeves, telling everybody they're breathtaking. That's CitizenCon.
No, but you could do voice over IP with a Vandal and start like seeing a Vandal talking, and then the Vandal talking is actually Andy Serkis in front of a computer, and then they show it on camera, and then he goes on stage.
That'd actually be kind of cool. Yeah.
I think Squadron. I think Squadron seeing a more refined Squadron gameplay, maybe some FPS, better FPS mechanics. The FPS was in the last in the slice quite choppy. Mm-hmm. Showing some FPS, some of the tools, maybe the anti-grav grenade, which they showed again. I mean, they showed it 2015 at the Australian thingy for a Star Marine. I think stuff like that, like showing off some better space combat that was a bit choppy last time, also because of the pilot. I don't think he was a great pilot, but if they show some better combat, some better like in space, on ground, some more exciting stuff with the NPCs, stuff like that, I think that would really, and some nods, maybe some nods to some sci-fi,
because like honestly
would
the
maybe
only
attract the masses more.
Yeah, of course. And the only thing that you really need is like a clippable, quick little event to happen that's like crazy, and that could go viral and excite people about Star Citizen again. It doesn't have to be this like and how you brought it up, like it's not like a long thing. Like something for like 10-15 minutes could be good enough, you know? So yeah, but it's
yeah, so that's what I think should be done. Like if they have it in their guts that they can release in the next 5 quarter, no, not 5, no, it's like
I think 5 quarters is realistic.
5-6 quarters,
yeah,
5-6 quarters, and then they should then because it's so late this year, November, start the marketing and then show something for E3, something for Gamescom, and really, I mean, they don't have to be there much, but they have some people there, show a big trailer on each thing. It's maybe an extended one then for game. They have to roll the marketing in. Like I'm watching a lot of like the insiders for movies, and they are always talking on their casts. Yeah, when you do have the marketing, you have to do a long-term marketing, and you have to do like the standard media. And like with movie clips, yeah, we see a lot of online, but we need, there's still a lot of people still see their clips the first time when they see it on TV.
Yeah,
which is maybe surprising for people like us. They're maximum in the mid-30s, but a lot of people are still seeing that. And for games, it's still standard games media. It's still the big conferences. And I think maybe this year start with a bang, and then keep it running. And I think that might secure the funding, secure the long-term engagement of the existing community, and secure possibly a lot new backers with Squadron.
gotcha.
But I think Star Citizen, to get them also into Star Citizen, for that it's at the moment, I mean, they can with a good keynote attract some more people, but I think for the broad public that want game loops, that want it accessible, no, I think that's sadly too early this year.
Yeah, and you're probably right. It's unfortunate, but it's true. All right, Groth. Well, it was a good call. I appreciate it. And you brought up some interesting points and takes that I didn't think about too. That some smaller things that could excite the general, like, kind of active Star Citizen community, specifically about like multi-crew, right? We don't really have tangible multi-crew gameplay yet with really being able to affect our ships and stuff. And
I think multi-crew also would attract a lot of other people, and same with the like, room mechanic. I can
play with me and my friend.
Yeah, because the room mechanic would be something that you don't see in other games in that fashion, and that would be very cool if like surprising stuff suddenly happens, like losing gravity, losing atmosphere, or even having people blow up out of space, which we had like with the cargo crate from Caterpillar in 2017 when I was there. But that was more stage, not mechanic wise. But if they really see that in action in a fight or so, in a multi-crew fight with multiple perspectives, like for me, one of the last big things, like last year for me, was quite mellow. The last big things that really excited me was the Idris fight, the first like capital versus capital fight. And if they have something like that, not maybe capitals, but something that attacks the Carrack,
it needs to be a lot of ships. It needs to be madness if they're gonna, because how many people were waiting for, how many Eve players, how many like large scale, I mean, they've spoken about large scale battles a few times. I don't know if they'll ever hit
I mean, if
Eve numbers,
like a Javelin or Idris would come and help the Carrack with a full squadron, and the other ship would also have some bigger forces or so, and that would be something that really excites me. Something that I might expect back, like to a minor point, but that would really make me happy again.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that's a good point to stop. Is what would really make you happy. So.
Yeah.
And I hope you are, Groth. Thank you so much for calling today.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome, and we'll bring in the next caller. Bye now. And our next caller is Crown. So let me get him together. We had some technical issues with a few callers and trying to get everybody in line. Crown, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Not much, dude. So the same three questions for you.
Okay.
What do you expect to see at Citizencon? What do you really want to see? What would blow your mind? And what do you think would bring the big overarching gaming community back to Star Citizen from this year's Citizencon?
Well, I think we're going to see kind of what we're expecting at Citizencon. We're expecting them to tease, what's the next step in tech.
Yep.
How, because they're, we know they're like a moment away from figuring this thing out. They're going to tease the Carrack. They're going to tease what we've been, being led on all year long. I think what I'm really expecting, and I'm coming from an MMO player, right? I've been playing WoW and Guild Wars and all that stuff, and I think the one thing that they're missing from Star Citizen as an MMO is that that badge of honor, right? Like, hey, I was here at this moment for this one time in-game event, and I'm one of like 50 to 1,000 people that have like this Vandal skull shoulder, shoulder pole, or this piece of flair that I was there to defend Port Olisar from a Vandal attack. Like, we are missing like that community gravity point that brings everybody and all their ships together, because the UE sent out some massive, call to arms, and like we're missing like that major dramatic, hey, this is an MMO, we're all in this together, or just you see what I'm saying? Like, we're missing that.
I think most people
wow
are going to agree with that, right? I don't think anyone's is going to disagree with that. But how does that tie into this year's CitizenCon? Because to me, that seems like maybe next year, maybe even the year after, for something.
I think
like
because
that.
we're getting to like the jump point phase, right? Where we know we're knocking on that door. Well, how do you introduce a jump point? Is it going to be, hey, there's a jump point there? Or is it, hey, the Vandal just came through a jump point, we defeated them in this one-time event, and now the jump point is live, and we get to use that jump point? Yeah. Like, there has to be some, like, there has to be a reason for us to do this. Not just, hey, jump points are here now, and go find them, or, that to me, that's what they've always been missing, is like, we need that events. Not a story, but like we need that event step. Like, hey, jump points are here now. The Vandal, we defeated them, all 50 of us in this server, and the jump point is now live. Like, we can use that to go to the next system, whatever that may be.
I agree, but I think you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit, right?
Yeah, I am, because I've always been super critical of them, and over the last, I'd say, year and a half, I've kind of stepped back from that and just saw like, okay, this is going to take time. Right, they have 500 people, $300 million, and that this is the bleeding edge. This is the hypercar of gaming, right? Like, this is as close to the future or the next step of gaming we're gonna come. So, I think for me, it's just like, I'm really sitting here waiting for that. All right, guys, I can revitalize my org because I know that we have this large end-game event being teased after CitizenCon, and we're kind of like waiting a couple weeks or a couple days, and I think that's just kind of what they're missing, because how hyped can you be for something? How long can you
about the Stanton system? That's kind of the point of the show, is how are they going to keep hyping essentially the same game we've had for years now? It's obviously very different than we've had, but it's also very much the same. So how do they do it?
Well, they just have to blow our minds, and that's by doing something they've never done before, which is, hey guys, even if like the item isn't ours, like a Carrack is shown up and the Vandal attack, like something has to happen to where we go, holy shit, get to your computer right now, get into your Discord, start banging everyone messages. You guys need to get into the servers right now, because Star Citizen just blew our freaking minds, so we got to go. Like, right now it's kind of like, hey, anybody want to go in and test out the ballista? We can shoot random players or shoot each other. Like, eventually the hype dies almost as soon as it arrives at this point. Like,
what if I take your idea and we tie it into something more realistic and an expectation from Citizencon this year? What if during the keynote they say, hey, why don't you guys all log into the Star Citizen servers? And like server-side OCS was turned on, and we're all at Port Olisar. All of us.
Like, that's what I'm saying, man. Like,
it doesn't have to be this
it doesn't
hyper-engineered story arc that you're proposing. That's more for the future. But for now, what if that's the way they showed it off? And we were all in one area yelling on VoIP, but they obviously would have that turned off. But we would be yelling at VoIP to each other like, "Oh my god, this is insane!"
Yes,
you know, like I'm
man.
having that moment of like PogChamp right now, just thinking about it.
We need that. You know, we need the goosebump moment, and we're really, really dying for it because the JPEGs, like, hey, these motorcycles are coming out. Like, I don't want a motorcycle, man. I want to be able to have my whole org standing next to me. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. Like, we can only keep the hype train going for so long until we're at this point now where viewership is down, like you said, clicks are down, like you said, just because people are like, okay, cool, another $100 ship, another $100 vehicle, and there's nothing wrong with putting out new content. That's great, but you also have to match the quality of life in there, and it's not just simply, not getting 30K, not getting, just blowing up on a pad for no reason. You also need to give people a reason to log in. And it's this hype train that really needs to be a hype train. Like you said, it doesn't have to be this dramatic flare like I want,
Yeah,
like,
I think they've done that somewhat. Like we're a bit off topic, and I'll jump off topic for a second.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll jump off topic with you for a little bit. I think they actually have given us that. I mean, you can buy almost all the ships in the game right now. There's something to grind for. There's something interesting. It's just the problem with those ships is they all kind of fly similarly for the most part. There's no multi-crew gameplay, right? There's so many pieces missing to make something like a Starfarer so much more exciting than something else, right?
Yeah, and there's we all know there's little tiny things that have to come to life. Like the last caller, he was amazing at pointing out so many different things I hadn't even thought about myself, and I play daily. But at the same time, like, we also do need that big leap, whether it be and not a leap as a ship, because we have ships, and I think the community quietly is over the ship thing. Like, we're kind of tired of ships, and then they're like, okay, we'll show you a clip of picking fruit off a tree. Okay, like,
it's actually really cool.
It's cool, but I'm not logging in for picking fruit from a tree. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It's a part of what will become. Yeah. But we need them to really hit a home run for us this year, because we have Squadron 42 coming next year.
If I can't buy Gamer Girl water to pour on the tree to make the fruit go faster, that's where I'm gonna have issues. Okay, that's where I'm gonna take issues. I want to buy Gamer Girl water for real money so I can pour it on the tree and make my plants grow faster. All right.
Yeah, we need Gamer Girls water vendors in Area 18. You know, like, but you see where I'm coming from, man. Like, I don't want to drag it out. And that also, it's a twofold answer. It does bring people back. It may bring people in. Maybe after this one-time event where the tech goes live or whatever the case may be. Where you can be on stream and have that because you're you facilitate their game, right? You show the public a live version of what technically is a test, right?
Yeah.
So if you're able to do like, hey, this is SaltEMike, we're getting ready to log in after Citizencon based upon, hey guys, this login moment. Well, the viewership is going up. I'm gonna open another tab and drop $40 to come join you.
Yeah.
Because I for the last, however long, most of everybody's been a console gamer to like the last couple of years as PC gaming has really exploded. So a lot of people have been paying $60, $100 for broken games. Now we're actually getting into a game we're part of developing. I don't mind dropping the $40 and jumping in with SaltEMike and his squad and waiting for this one-time event. And you know what I'm saying? I think that's how they bring people back is giving people quantifiable, something that they can touch and really be a part of and show that, hey man, we're trying to bring this thing to life, not just make it piece by piece, technical thing, like, hey, this is a tangible, breathing, living universe, and we're going to do our best to keep you guys going, as we go. So
Yeah.
I'll leave you there, brother.
All right, Crown. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That was a really good call. Nice talk, man.
All right, brother.
Yeah. I like that he brought up like the story part. I think that was really important. I don't know if that's what we get from this year's Citizencon, but maybe even like what I kind of mentioned, like us all logging in and showing off server-side OCS would be pretty cool. But all right, we have our next caller, which I wasn't super prepared for, so let's get his name spelled properly and on the overlay. And his name is Henrik. And there it goes. Henrik, welcome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, how you doing? So we're gonna start out with the 3 questions.
Okay.
What do you expect from Star Citizen or from Citizencon? What do you really want to see from Citizencon that'll blow your mind? And what do you think could bring in more people from the outside of the Star Citizen community and the overall gaming community to get excited about Star Citizen again?
Okay. What I'm expecting from Citizencon is not so big as I think some of the other has mentioned, but I expecting some kind of what's called some engineering gameplay about the opponents breaking down or something there, because we have seen them physicalize the component this year in the ships.
So going in and maybe swapping out components or subcomponents in a component and showing off the changes to it, or maybe even fixing a broken one during a mission, something like that. That would actually be really cool.
Yeah, maybe in a fight or something where the shields is breaking down and we're following the engineer to get over and fix it.
And they say some super cringy thing over VoIP, which is almost, that's my expectations. What I'd like to see is like, help me out, man, and it actually be like feeling real and not cringy. But what reality is going to happen is probably going to be really cringy. And then they're going to go, oh, fix my shields, and they go back and fix it. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I'm expecting for it. And maybe in the end of the keynote, we are getting through a jump point or something to see to get an expectation of how that would look like.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that's like something that potentially isn't really far off. It's something that we could have in the game and use soon, and it's also something that's really exciting. So I like that. Yeah.
And what I would like to see is engineering and medical gameplay, and maybe farming a little bit. But I don't think I'm going to see 2 of them.
Yeah, maybe for next year the farming and medical gameplay, especially with the harvesting. Who knows, man? Maybe we're gonna grow plants and harvest them, and they give us some sort of buffs and debuffs and all sorts of things. You never know.
Yeah, maybe farming isn't so far out, but medical gameplay seems to be a quite long way to go.
But maybe a small version of medical gameplay, like healing another player instead of only healing yourself, right?
Yeah, using the medpen on another player instead of just stabbing yourself in the...
We had that for one patch. And it was like 5 years ago that you can heal another player with a medpen. It was so long ago. It was at the very, very beginning of 2.0, I think. There was one patch.
A PTU pack, so...
PTU didn't even exist then, I'm pretty sure. It was just one patch. And you could heal another player, and then it was so long ago that to charge your laser weapons, you had to go to a wall charger. And that's where you would charge your laser weapons. They didn't come with magazines.
I can't remember that patch. Maybe is it one of those 2-point crash point?
It was 2.0 at some point.
Yeah.
Was that pre 2.0? No, there's no such thing as pre
No,
2.0.
there wasn't anything pre 2.0 because the Hangar module was in 1.0, and
Yeah,
it's not Star Marine, but
1.0 was Arena Commander.
Was it 1.0?
Yeah, Arena Commander was 1.0.
Oh.
Arena Commander started in 0.9 or 0.8, and then they were like, this is Arena Commander 1.0. And then they were like, this is Arena Commander 1.2, 1.3. And then they were like, this is Star Citizen 2.0.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of when it was. But now oh my God, we're off topic. So what would bring in the overarching gaming community then?
I think that will bring in is the as the other have said the Star not Star Marine but the Squadron 42 single player campaign will bring the most of them in, and maybe when they begin to have a little bit more polish, I don't think in a 3 years time I would say they may be getting some polish in them that can bring some of those people in there to turn their back on.
Yeah, I hope it'll excite some people this year, but we'll see.
Maybe some of them, but I don't think it's too many.
Yeah, like somebody said in chat, I think so much of the gaming community is going to avoid it until the game is out, which is probably true, but it's still just maintaining the hype somehow. That's why I think like visuals are really important for this year's Citizencon. Is if you can get a visual to kind of go viral a little bit and be like, wow, they did it again, kind of thing. That's more along the lines of what I mean. I don't think showing off a demo of Squadron 42 is even going to do it for anybody. It kind of has to be like something, wow, look at that, at that, you know?
If you have a PvP match with 100 players in one server, then you will get something like what you are
That's probably
describing.
True. Yeah, like just out of nowhere have a BR style gameplay and just be like, you could do this if you wanted.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, Henrik, is there anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that was all.
Short and sweet. It was very good. Thank you so much for calling, and you brought up some really interesting points.
Thank you.
Thank you, Henrik. Bye now. All right. And our next caller is a very regular caller. His name is IDDKFA, so we're just bringing him up on the overlay here. And we have one more caller after him that just popped in. So IDD, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what up? How are you doing?
I'm good. So you got the 3 questions, or do I need to repeat them?
What would wow me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I go in with 0 expectations to see something great.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm open for surprise.
Of course. And every year they've surprised us. I don't think there's any time where you didn't see something that was like, okay, that was cool. Right?
Yeah,
at least on my end.
Of course, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's like subjective, what wows you, right?
Of course.
What are you actually looking for? And what I'm looking for, I don't think I get to see it.
What are you looking
for? Your next
for?
question, I come to it later.
Okay.
Just so your next question, I would like to answer is what would bring people back into the game? It's hype. And they know how to hype. 90% of the game is pure hype.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And the lemmings will follow again for a bit and then leave again. Only a somewhat stable game with working gameplay could keep it around for longer.
Of course. Which is why I feel like this show's pretty important, is because how long can you keep this wheel turning and the hype wheel, right? Like every year around this time, things kind of slow down and die down, and then around Citizencon, Gamescom, Citizencon, and Anniversary Livestream, the hype builds up, and then it slows down again. And how long, with the way the game is not progressing at the pace that I think we would all like it to, how long can it hold? And this year, I think, is a really critical year for that, right?
I have no idea. I've been skeptical about the hype and the funding for, I don't know, since 2015, when I thought we would see a decline sometime soon, but it hasn't happened. So why should the hype
Well, the
go down
funding is
all of a
different than
sudden?
the hype, because the funding comes from the current community. Hype comes from outside of the community.
But isn't, at least for me, the funding is still based on hype, not on the actual game we have right now.
But a different kind of hype.
True.
It doesn't come from hype. It comes from fantasy. The funding comes from, oh my god, this is what I'm gonna do in my Carrack. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna take my Pioneer and make this. I'm gonna build a town. Right? It's exactly what's in the Twitch chat right now. It's the Imagine trailer.
It's a dream.
It's a dream. It's all creating this fantasy in your head about what you're gonna do with the thing that you're gonna buy. When in reality, when it comes into the game, especially initially when it comes into the game, because all the features aren't connected, it's not the same, right? So hype is something like, hey, that game that's been in development so long, what do they do? Like, what have they done for me lately, kind of thing. And hype is like, oh, that's what they did, right? Like, imagine jumping through a jump point in a video, whatever they do, you're jumping through a jump point. It's cool looking. It's a jump point, whatever. And then when you pop out, the star system looks, it's a different star. It looks different. There's a different color. It's alien looking something, like that might excite. I don't know, I don't know what would excite people that aren't in the Star Citizen community as I'm in it necessarily, but it's one of those things where the only way to excite the overarching community is to do something and show something that no one's done before.
Yeah, it's a good point. I still think they are somewhat linked, but probably not to the extent I initially thought. So
yeah.
So now to the meat. What do I expect?
Yeah.
First off, please no actors or anything like that. For me, at this point, it's just hype bait.
Yeah,
And
unless Squadron's like further along, and at that point it's pretty obvious to bring actors in that are in the game and have them advertised, right? Like that's normal.
Yeah, sure, but do you think Squadron 42 beta is 2020? So that's where I'm coming from. That's why I don't think we see any actors or something like that.
When we do, we know it's close.
Yeah, right. Another thing is, as much as I love the Carrack, what good does an even more epic trailer than the Connie was? There's no gameplay attached to it. So the Carrack, if it makes it in the game after Citizencon, it would be yet another cargo hauler for the time being.
Yeah, that's all it would be. Every ship right now is a glorified something other than what it actually is, other than the combat ships and some of the cargo haulers.
Right. You only have combat ships and cargo haulers. Like, it's nothing else.
Yeah.
And since I left the realm of what ifs years ago, and I only care about the what is, there are two things I want to see at CitizenCon. Not like to see, but want to see, maybe even need to see.
Okay.
And that's A, what's the current state of the AI? And B, what's the current state of subsumption? As I said many times before, my eyes are almost completely on Squadron 42 right now. So obviously the AI is a big part of it. And I just want to see what the AI is actually capable of right now. And I don't mean solely the animation side of things, but how they react to a hostile player, like engaging, hiding, general reaction stuff like that. Then we could also tell how much the AI in the PU is being held back by network issues, or maybe the AI is not.
Yep. And then what about just like when you say subsumption, like wouldn't it be nice to follow an NPC around in his life a little bit?
Yeah, that's exactly
not
what I want
related.
to see. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see of subsumption and what the current state of friendly NPC interaction is. And that's also a huge part for the single player.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two and the flight combat, for me at least, are what makes and breaks the single player game. The story as well, but that would be something they can hold back for spoiler reasons, of course. For the other two things, the AI and subsumption, I don't want to hear any spoiler BS. You can show that off in any of your prototype
You can show what they're
levels.
capable of, yeah.
Yes. And my last part, there's a lot of hype going on for potential jump points and nicks and traveling to another system, and like seeing the transition to another system is more like a technical win for me.
Yeah.
Because it's just a mini game and probably great looking animations. But why I'm not exactly hyped for that is, let me ask you this. What's the difference between RCOP and Hurston except the art style?
Well, the art style, but I mean, you're floating in a gas giant. It's going to be a massive difference in art style.
I mean, right now, what we have right now.
Oh, RCorp and Hurston. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking Crusader. No, they're not much of a difference. They're both very industrial, right?
Right. There's
Microtech
no
should bring a fairly large difference, since it's more futuristic, not futuristic, but high tech.
But just the art style anyway, because the content is still the same. Like you have the same content, just two different locations. And for me, traveling between systems, so meaning traveling between Stanton and Nix, it's just the same. There's if the content is the same, just the locations and the art style changes, but nothing else. So for me, it's still gameplay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And I know that sounds ungrateful, but that's not how I mean it. The game looks great. I'm sure few would deny that, because of the lack of working gameplay and the slow progression of gameplay, some minor and larger things they do great suffer a bit due to my personal preferences.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Like I'm arguing that they need to show something beautiful in order to bring excitement back. And for you, that obviously is just not what would do it. It would be when I go to another system or when I go to another place, how does my experience change? How does it enhance my experience or change my experience and make it fun and different in a different way? And
right.
and right now that's not possible.
Right. I mean, does it keep you around if you just have another location with the same ingredients?
No.
I mean, it's not like we explored Hurston for the first time, went down to the planet, it was all great. Did you have the same hype for RCorp?
No, I flew around a HardCorp and was like, wow, this is beautiful, but then I don't really like going back to it.
Exactly. So it's the wow factor for a week or two, and then it's like, but there's nothing new. So it's just another location. And like I said, for me, it would be the same with traveling to another system outside of the technical advances, of course. That would be quite huge down the road, but immediately it wouldn't have any impact for me.
Gotcha. All right. Well, do you want to add anything else before I bring AS on?
No. Let him in.
Let him in. let the floodgates open. He's gonna technically smash our dreams or build them up. It's gonna be one or the other.
He does both.
He does both. All right, IGD. I'll talk to you
All right,
later.
see ya, buddy. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get ASN here on overlay. Go. ASN, what's up?
Hey there.
Welcome.
How's it going?
It's going, man. So you got the three
hit me
questions.
with the questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you expect to see from Citizencon? What do you really want to see that would really blow your mind at Citizencon? And what would excite the gaming community outside of the Star Citizen community about
Okay,
Star Citizen? What
I'm
would excite them again about the game? Because right now I don't get that vibe from people outside of the community anymore.
I'm gonna combine the first two because
That's fine.
for me they're connected, honestly. Because what I dream of SC is kind of what I hope they can pull off. So it's kind of the same. Like most people pointed out, but I'm gonna go a bit more on the tech side. I'm just gonna say server-side OCS. We need this thing to turn into an MMO.
Yeah.
Right now it's just like a small arena game, and it has just like a crazy land area. Little to no, gameplay loops or content that can make you play for weeks and weeks. So this current situation is like actually the majority of the frustration, and I agree with IDD that just adding a new place won't solve the core issues. So I need server-side OCS and the prototype of meshing to have somewhat of an update on Citizencon. I think it's one of the major things that is stopping this game from being what it's supposed to be. So that is like a key thing for me. I need to see that. And if I don't see that this year, in my head, that's the real delay. Like okay, it's going to be next CitCon. That's another year that SC is losing that we have to accept pretty much. The other thing would be like that unlocking more players in itself. I know it's not gameplay. Having more players in an area is not essentially a new game, profession or whatever. Yeah, that's the argument I'm trying to make. But in other ways, having more players means that if the mission system gets worked on, the new dynamic mission system, if the more player inputs are being thrown in the wars, that will actually create content more of its own as well. So it depends on how it's used with combination of subsumption and online mission generation. So if you put in more players and give them actually more tools to create their own missions and interact with each other, that could pull off a lot of the gameplay weaknesses the game currently has. So I kind of want those two things to interact. I want more tools to be given to the players as the new tech allows for more players. That will actually lift that side of the game a bit more. So I want those things to happen. I want new locations, but the reason why I want them is not because it's gonna be this thing that's gonna, make the game again. It's just something that has to be done. I mean, at the end of the day, like 50% of the community is complaining about the fact that it's just not even a star system. And now the other 50% of the community is saying a new system won't do the job. So like, what is CIG going to listen to, right? Like, what are they going to do? Of course, they're not going to care about anything.
No, they're going to do what needs to be done to make the game.
Yes, and that's why it's just another, just another goalpost that they got to hit, and it needs to happen. And for like freaking hell, like Delamar and Levski is not in like Stanton. It needs to go to its right place. I mean, it's a lore-heavy game. It's so weird to have those in Stanton for now, of course, for tech reasons. But I mean, let's just get this initial, playground fixed, so it's like how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So yeah, I want those new systems in. If they can pull off 2, that would be great. But I doubt it. I'll think they'll get 1 in. But even that, it will excite a little bit. But of course, all of that is related again to the tech. So that's why I just started with the tech, and now I'm moving on to the other stuff. I've sadly kind of given up on professions for a near term.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's a priority at all. It's gotten push, and now it doesn't even really show too much on the roadmap.
And on the monthly report, they said the US gameplay teams are working on some stuff and combined, but they are not talking about EU gameplay teams. And the mining team has disappeared, and the salvage prototype team also is just not being shown anymore since a year. So my suspicion, this is all purely suspicion based, that they're on Squadron, just working on the Squadron features that the single player needs.
Yep.
So I kind of in my mind, I've put all the profession stuff, unless it's really minor an improvement, it's just a slight QOL or just a slight addition. I think most of the gameplay teams are just at Squadron, and they're going to be there until next Citizencon.
Yeah.
That's my expectation. So
yeah, the great thing with that
year,
47 million was that it was going to get Squadron in gear, and it was also going to be there for the marketing for Squadron, so they can keep funding the game through us. But the issue with it is the prioritization of Squadron was definitely going to affect the PU in some way.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna. Well, they might show some prototypes at Citizencon, but I doubt they'll show the profession. So Citizencon is going to be 50-50 in my opinion, and this is their previous model, and I think it somewhat works. Last year was about, we're opening up to Stanton. We'll show you what this new tech can do with Stanton, and we'll show you how the game, is gonna slowly progress, right? And they showed 3.3, and they gave, the dates for it. They released it. They kind of said this is the next expansion of the next year, right? And they also kind of showed the patch really near term.
Yeah.
So they just released 3.3. I think this year is going to be the same. So they're going to show 3.8. They're going to show what's coming in, the near term, and now what the patch is going to drop. But they're also going to show what's going to happen next year, which is going to be the new system and all the new stuff that they're working on. And on Squadron, I'm kind of not sure, because whatever, we have the roadmap. It just doesn't look like it's going too fast.
unless they
sure.
redo the, like somebody said earlier, unless they redo the the bishop speech, what are you gonna just do the whole hour-long mission over again and say, hey, look, some more things are online? I don't think so.
They could make another trailer. That would be the most, I think, sensible thing, because you could send that to the gaming outlets, and they'll probably publish it, and they'll generate new hype regarding Squadron, but it still wouldn't be like a release marketing campaign. Yeah. And I doubt Star Citizen needs a year-long release marketing campaign either. I think they just need something at the end of it, where they are 100% sure it's done. They just need a 6 or 5 month long thing, starting from E3 all the way at the end of the year. I think that would be the best case, because having essentially, I mean, that's another topic, but the newer marketing campaigns are much more shorter term, and because games have changed a lot, and games that start marketing for years generally don't have the same kind of excitement or sales. That's why actually condensed marketing campaigns are slightly better. Of course, for the bigger games, you need a lot more time to set it all up. But yeah, so definitely server-side OCS, meshing prototype, having more players in there. Expanding is just another thing that needs to be done. And for small teases, with the addition of server-side OCS, I want the capitals in there as well.
Okay.
Because that's another thing of the game that has to be there. We just, yes, 50 players, then to 200 players if they can pull it off. And then with that addition, add the Idris. Who gives a damn? I don't give a damn. If there are so many Idris owners out there. And also add another cap ship, just have the community.
They're going to sell another one.
Yeah, and have the community have some fun. You just, if you're working on this tech, and if it's going to enable new stuff, and we know there are not many professions coming in, at least have the community have another, big capital fight to play. And for the first time that they always wanted to play since 2012, right? So, that kind of an experience, I think that will also help, but I'm not sure about that part. They might not do it, they might do it, but it would be cool to have as an extra. And on the other stuff, definitely the cloud tech for Crusader excites me, because that means another set of planets can be produced.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And I do wish because I'm gonna attend Citizencon to hear something about the QT improvements. I don't want to trigger you, but I really want to hear what they're gonna do, because I really want them to adopt the Elite QT method, which is actively flying.
Yeah, and I don't think that would be such a dramatic change. I don't expect it.
And the second question, which is what would hype people again for SC, is like, just look back. What hyped them before?
It was
the
visual.
biggest hype. It was 2016 demo of Lear, of the open world, just traversing, doing missions on a planet. That looks cool. That was what hyped them back then. And 2018, it was the Hurston demo, Lorwell, that stuff. So I think they just don't need to be that crazy. They just need to do the same thing, pretty much, with just a couple of new features that will, rile people up again, because that same system has worked since 2012, right? They don't have to abandon the same strategy. So they're definitely going to maybe show one of the new planets and then do a new cool mission in it, and then show an extra feature or two that hasn't been in before, that even the old, outside of the community people haven't seen in any other game or something. And then, make that as a center stage, put it online, and I'll just get in another chunk of people in. But like, the funding seems to be increasing, so they just need to do whatever they need to do, what they have been doing, without just being too how do you say, optimistic about their own product and marketing, which is like treating it as a finished game, which is something they should stop doing. But
yes,
we'll see about that.
It's weird. They do it and then they don't. It's like they talk about it like it's finished, and then they say, "Well, it's an alpha." And it's like, what is it, guys? What is it?
Yeah,
it's an alpha. We all know
Star Citizen.
It's a broken mess of a game, and it has so much potential, but that's what it is. And like, can we just say what it is?
Yeah. When you get on the site, it's get on this persistent online MMO, and then do all the things.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's an alpha at the bottom disclaimer. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's boring to wait this long. But every year there's these boring chunks, and then towards the end of the year they hype people again.
Yep.
And because it's all about showing like what's the next big step in Star Citizen. I mean, I was in 2015 Gamescom. I saw Star Citizen go from Arena Commander to 2.0 to the Crusader area, right?
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is a big step in this game. And I wonder, what the next big steps are going to be. While initially I thought the next new solar system is going to be the big step, at the end of the day, like, I definitely decided on that the tech, the server-side OCS, and server meshing is the next big thing, because that will allow for everything else. Just like how OCS allowed us to be able to play the game in somewhat of a good fashion, without our eyes just, tearing up from the 2 frames. So that's what I expect. I just expect them to show that progress and how it reflects onto the game, and then show some cool marketing stuff to get the slight hype going again that was in previously. That'll probably get a lot more people in. And of course, the live expo in the game, the actual expo that you visit.
Yeah, because they're going to combine everything together, it seems like, this year. So I imagine the expo would be on like ArcCorp, and it would be a little bit different. Some new ships to see, and hey, go in the game now, go check them out, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really cool. And a slight thing that IDD said, what's the difference between ArcCorp and Hurston? And that, I think this is a key thing. And he's right. He's actually pointing out the amount of content difference, right?
Yeah.
But last time I played really recently. While they still share some missions, they still share some goods. I think there's still a variation there. But I agree that each area needs to have more unique stuff. That, like, where you go to Hurston, it's just like, oh, I'm going to Hurston to do these things because I really cannot do them anywhere else. Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the thing, adding all this tech, adding all these locations enables them to do that variation, because they can essentially, the designer can say, in this new system, here is the only place you can get this item for this price. Then you actually have to travel there to get it, right? That kind of, also expands the other parts of the game. But I do agree that salvage and the other professions, basic exploration needs to get in there. But I just don't expect it next year. That's going to be my surprise if they actually come out and you're like, hey, here's salvage, here's a bit of exploration. That will be what will wow me.
Don't count on it.
All right, yeah, those are my opinions.
Yeah. All right, Asen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a good one.
You too, man. I'll talk to you later. All right, so that is going to do it for this week's Answer the Call. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I thought it was a really good episode. We got a lot of callers in. It started off slow, so the calls were a little bit longer, and then we got a little bit shorter because we had to get more people in. But it was cool to see everybody's opinions and what matters, and that's to them, and that's why I wanted to find out, because I knew what mattered to me, but I always like to hear what matters for you guys. So make sure you leave a comment below. What do you answer those 3 questions? You know, what do you want to see? What do you expect to see at Citizencon? What do you really want to see? What would wow you, and what would bring more people from the gaming community into Star Citizen from Citizencon? And I will see you guys in the next video. So make sure you leave that comment, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And guess what, guys? We hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've never done a giveaway. I've never done anything. It's like one of my more proud moments. So in the last little bit of time here, we went from, I think, 3,000 subs to 5,000 subs with just the little bit of kind of crappy content I feel like I've been putting on here. And I hope it only gets better. So thank you for all the support over the last, like, maybe 6 months that I've been really focusing on my YouTube channel. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.